Yo, what's up mga kaibigan? This is TOO KAYE po again. Ngayon nagbabalik ho tayo para magbigay ng reaksyon at komentary. Nandito tayo sa channel ni Pinas News Insider. Kaya simulan natin guys. Let's go!
Ito ang nakakagulat. Trending ngayon sa mundo ng social media ang di umano'y balitang isyung hindi mamatay-matay. Dating Pangulong Benigno Aquino III kumpirmadong buhay di umano at nagtatago lang sa ibang bansa. Ito'y ayon sa ating mga kababayan.
Sabi nila noon patay na. Ngayon balibalita, buhay daw. Ba, gaano kaya katotoo to?
Chris Aquino at Noynoy Aquino parehong may intensyon di umano sa mga drama nila. Pero bago ang lahat, kung bago ka pa lamang sa aming channel,
sa lahat ng di pa nakasubscribe kay Pinas News Insider mga kaibigan, mag-subscribe na po tayo at huwag nyo rin kalimutan mag-subscribe dito sa akin channel. Okay guys, tuloy ulit natin.
please huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para mas maging updated pa kayo lalo sa lahat pa ng bagong video na i-upload namin. Kung ating matatandaan noon, pumanaw di umano si dating Noynoy Aquino noong kalagitnaan ng kampanyahan nang sa ganoon makuha di umano ng mga dilawan ng simpatya ng taong bayan. At nang hindi naman ito umubra, ay itong si Chris Aquino naman ang nagsakit-sakitan di umano at nagawa pa nitong pumunta sa rally noon ng Pinklawan upang ipamukha sa mga tao na utang na loob natin sa kanilang magulang ang kalayaan nating natamo. At ayon pa nga sa kanila, sa huling hininga nga ng dating Pangulo ay tanging driver lamang niya ang nakakita at ni isang medical staff o pamilya ay hindi nakatingin sa kanya. At dahil nga sa balitang ito, malaki tuloy ang haka-haka ng mga tao na sinadya di umano ang pagkawala nito para magamit sa halalan noong 2022. Na sana
Yun ata yung panahon na tumatakbo si Rodrigo Duterte guys, nung halalan ng eleksyon na yun. Tapos biglang sinabi na patay na raw si PNOY, di ba?
ay kasi di umano ang mga dilawan sa sistemang kapag may nalagasang buhay sa kanila ay paniguradong sa kanila din mapupunta ang suporta ng taong bayan pagdating ng halalan. Isang malaking halimbawa nga nito ay ang pagpanaw ni Benigno Aquino noon at biglaang paghirang ni Cory Aquino.
Na-expect siguro nila pwede nilang ulitin yung mga nangyari noon, pero nagkakamali sila dahil sa social media guys. Gising namulat at nagising ang mga tao, diba? At isa ako ron sa nagising
bilang Pangulo ng bansa. At noong pumanaw naman si Cory Aquino ay si Noynoy Aquino naman ang naging Pangulo. At noong namatay nga si former Secretary Jesse Lubredo na kilalang kaalyado ni Noynoy Aquino, ay bigla ding nanalo si Leni Robredo bilang Vice Presidente ng bansa. Hindi naman lingid sa ating kaalaman ang naging malaking suporta ng mga dilawan sa naging kandidatura noon ni Leni Robredo. Pumunta pa nga si Chris Aquino sa rally nito noon para suportaan ang kanyang kandidatura kahit na ito ay may iniindang sakit. Kaya isang malaking katanungan ngayon ang tungkol sa isyong buhay pa ba di umano si Noynoy Aquino. Para sa ating mga kababayan ngayon na nalilito, lalong-lalo na sa iba't ibang isyu na lumalabas tungkol sa mga Aquino sa pagkamatay ni Noynoy Aquino, naging maingay nga sa social media ang mga balitang hindi ka panipaniwala sa pagpanaw ng dating Pangulo. May mga taong nagsasabi na buhay pa di umano ang dating Pangulo. Kung ating matatandaan noon,
may papayata kayo rito yung pruweba or lispatan ng video ganun, o baka chismis ganun. Abangan natin guys.
Sa pagpanaw ng dating Pangulo, marami ang nagsasabi kung bakit raw hindi di umano pinakita ang bangkay ni Noynoy Aquino.
Oo.
Bago
Totoo, hindi man lang pinakita guys.
siya
Kahit yung burol.
cremate at hindi pinakita sa publiko.
Cremate wala pa ng pandemic nung time na yun.
At dahil nga dito, marami ang lumabas na isyu sa social media. Kaya paniwala tuloy ng marami sa ating mga kababayan na niloko lang ng pamilyang Aquino ang mga tao dahil tila akma lang umano sa lahat ng kaganapan sa mundo ng politika ang ginawang pagpanaw noon ni Noynoy Aquino at pagsakit-sakitan di umano ni Chris Aquino. Magkaganoon pa man, ang lahat ng mga pangyayari sa mundong ibabaw ay may hangganan at ang katotohanan na dapat manaig at hindi inggit dahil walang lihim na hindi mabubunyag. Samantala, hindi naman mapigilan ng marami sa ating mga kababayan na magbigay ng kanilang hinaing at komento sa mundo ng social media. At ayon pa sa kanila, kahit ano pang gawin nilang strategy, hindi na nila maluloko ang mamamayan.
Tama, kasi itong tutusin talagang gising na sobrang nagising na yung mga tao ngayon. Nang dahil sa social media kasi nagsilabasan lahat yung mga pruweba, yung mga kasinungalingan, diba?
Naniniwala akong buhay pa si Pinoy ayon sa mga salaysay sa katulong at driver niya. Namatay, hindi nga ipinakita sa public diretso na cremation. Bakit di magdududa? Sana nga buhay pa. Ayos yan para masaksihan niya kung paano maging tunay na presidente at kung paano paunlarin ang bansa. Kasi nga, crinimate agad. Wala man lang viewing, kaya di masisisi ang espekulasyon ng tao.
Totoo. Wala man lang pruweba, di ba?
Patay lang ang pangalan niya. Walang matibay na ebidensya na patay na talaga. Talagang buhay pa. Di kataka-taka. Di man lang pinakitang muka. Sinunog ka agad. Nasa isip na noon pa nagpa-plastic surgery lang yan. Noy-noy at ng ibang bansa. Dahil ayaw mabilanggo sa pilitan. End quote.
Thank you, Ambassador Babes Romualdez, for your kind introduction. Please take a seat. The U.S. ASEAN Business Council President, Ambassador Ted Osius, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Senior Vice President for Asia, Charles Freeman, the Cabinet Secretaries, that have come to join me here at this trip to the United States. Some of the stalwarts of the Philippine economy are also here that have joined us today. Esteemed leaders of the U.S. and Philippine business with us today, Madam Ambassador, all the distinguished guests who are here, a very pleasant good afternoon to you all. As has just been mentioned, though the relationship between the Philippines and the United States have front and center right now security and defense issues that we have to confront together as partners. Once again, we have always had that very strong partnership between our two countries, and as we have seen over the years, despite some bumps and scrapes along the way, we have really gone from strength to strength. But now that security and defense are top of mind, we also have to see that because our economies and our societies have grown more complex, everything impinges on everything else, and it is very hard for us to separate and say that this is a discrete sector that does not affect any other sector. I think that that is the lesson that we learn now, especially in the post-pandemic economy, and that is why the economic situation in the Philippines and the world, for the rest of the world, is an important part of the discussion when it comes even to security and defense. We have come now to recognize the concept of economic security, wherein the stronger an economy is, the more secure it is, and the more partnerships we can maintain to maintain the peace in our region. Allow me to just go through some of the statistics that are relevant to the Philippines in the past close to a year now since I took office. The Philippines has been on a path to recovery from COVID-19. The Philippine economy grew by 7.6% for last year, 2022. The main contributors are wholesale and retail trade, manufacturing, construction. From January to December of 2022, agriculture, forestry, and fisheries And services that, related services have all expanded by 0.5%, 6.7%, and 9.2% respectively. And this is the effect of our very aggressive efforts, really, to promote the Philippines as an investment destination. We have, for our part in the Philippines, tried to create an atmosphere that is attractive to potential investors, and we continue that process. That process does not stop. We will never at any point say we've got it perfected. We will continue to listen to you and to all our other partners as to what else we can do to help transform our economy, and in that way, to be able to play a viable part in the security and defense issues that are the challenges of the day and of the region. 2022 was a banner year also for Philippine exports to the United States. The value of Philippine merchandise exports to the U.S. was the highest on record. Last year, total Philippine exports to the U.S. was $12.3 billion, making the U.S. our top export market. In the same year, our imports from the United States were $8.91 billion, giving us a $3.39 billion trade surplus. Taking into consideration that the U.S. GSP system, the program, has yet to be reauthorized by the U.S. Congress, this year-to-year increase in our export to the U.S. is quite remarkable. The U.S. GSP covers over 2,000 Philippine products with a 74% utilization rate. This led to a notable increase in travel goods exports after the inclusion in 2017. Well, with that as in our back pocket, we are now continue to be optimistic about the growth of Philippine exports to the U.S. Based on data from 2019 to 2022, there is good reason to believe that our top electronics and electrical components exports to the U.S. will remain strong as they did throughout the pandemic. These exported products are mostly semiconductors and other electrical and electronic assemblies, including automotive components. Therefore, we are keen to continue to provide support for this sector. Also, to foster competitiveness of the semiconductor and electronics sector, we are advancing the digital transformation of Philippine-based economies, Philippine-based companies. And we have also, in our assessment of the digitalization of in the Philippines, have found that actually private corporations, commercially run operations, have been very assiduous in their digitalization. And this is probably not surprising, considering that that is necessary for a commercial enterprise to continue to do business around the world. Unfortunately, government has fallen behind our partners in the private sector, and that's why we are still now playing catch up from the national government and in the local governments as well. So we support the smart industry readiness of 7 of the biggest semiconductor and electronics manufacturing services companies in the country. It helps our digital transformation roadmap. Also, the semiconductor industry can gain more from increasing skills in research and development. Because outsourced semiconductor assembly and test is vulnerable to disruptive technologies, we need to undertake research and development that will help us improve business for OSAT firms in the country. This in the context of what we are watching in terms of the semiconductor industry around the world, where we are in the middle of a chip war. And that is something that we are hoping to mitigate and to continue to protect. And I'm not talking about protectionism, but continue to protect our semiconductor industry. There is also the trend towards electric vehicles. Philippine exports that are geared towards electrical vehicles used, such as wire harnesses, rubber tires, automotive electronics, they all have good potential. We are optimistic about the increase in exports of our solar and photovoltaic-related products from the Philippines, as many countries have strived to comply with decarbonization targets. As we foster the Philippines' trade with the U.S., we also strengthen our country's cooperation in terms of defense. On April 11th of this year, the Philippines and the United States held a 2+2 ministerial meeting in Washington, D.C. The Secretaries of Defense and Foreign Affairs of both our countries discussed ways to further strengthen our cooperation given the geopolitical situation in the South China Sea. We have reaffirmed our commitments under the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. We are actually in the midst of finalizing the basic guidelines for the definition of the Mutual Defense Treaty. This is because we believe that with the changing world that we live in, that we must also evolve that relationship. And the question of clarity is something that is very, very important to me, because what we worry about are misjudgments, mistakes, miscalculations. I do not think in our region that no player in the region has any intention of going to war. However, these miscalculations, misjudgments, mistakes that I speak of could, in fact, trigger a situation where that brings us closer to out-and-out conflict. The Philippines has also, relevant to this, the Philippines has also allowed the use of 4 additional locations to enable both countries to respond to challenges, including natural disasters in the Philippines and across the Indo-Pacific region. The alliance between the Philippines and the U.S. is strong. It is founded on shared principles of upholding the rule of law, the freedom of navigation, and the respect for territorial sovereignty. With the strength of our political and defense alliance, we desire a stronger economic integration with the U.S. The COVID-19 pandemic has raised our understanding of the need to address the vulnerabilities of supply chains across industries. Governments and private companies both seek to strengthen supply chains. This has been among the central topics in the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, and the Philippines is one with the other signatories of the IPEF in pursuing the supply chain resilience, especially in semiconductors, solar panels, electrical vehicles, electric batteries, critical minerals, and pharmaceuticals, amongst other important sectors. The Philippines is also a very important partner to U.S. companies in various industries. We have a young, dynamic, efficient workforce. We have attractive incentives, such as those granted under the CREATE law, which are concrete policies that uphold international labor and environmental standards, and a constant and unerring adherence to the protection of intellectual property rights and the regulatory framework for the export of dual-use and sensitive products. U.S. businesses can further rely on our long history of hosting companies producing semiconductors, solar panel components, and aerospace parts. These U.S. companies manufacture and export their products from the Philippines. We are grateful for U.S.-owned companies such as Texas Instruments, ON Semi, Analog Devices, SunPower, Maxion Solar Technologies, Moog Controls Corporation, and Raytheon Technologies. These high technology companies continue to grow and expand their investment in our country. Our economic relations have also grown and become stronger. It has been supported by growth in other industries where we work together, for instance, in IT BPM. The Philippines is a top destination for various IT BPM services, including contact center and business processes, healthcare, and animation and game development. IT BPM remains among the top industries for U.S. investments in the Philippines. As of June 2022, of the 2,446 IT BPM projects in the country, over 10% or 255 are U.S. funded. 30% of the 1,000 plus companies in the industry being known American firms such as Alorica, Elevance, Optum, Qualphone, Sutherland Global Services, Sykes, and Teletech, amongst others. Almost half of the 90-plus global in-house centers, including corporate giants, Amazon, American Express, and JP Morgan, have now offices located in the Philippines. Opportunities abound as the industry expands in every direction. Global shared services, IT, and software services towards cloud computing, cybersecurity, and health services, amongst others. The Philippines and the United States can both gain from stronger economic integration, and ahead of us, the path is rife with potential. We hope to get the US GSP program reauthorized. It has been more than 2 years since the GSP program ended, and we would like very much for the authorization to come about as this boosts trade and to make US products that are made in the Philippines more competitive in the global market. So once again, we invite US companies to invest in the processing and value adding of minerals in the Philippines as critical inputs to the US electrical vehicle and electric battery industry. We are blessed in the Philippines with a great deal of potential natural resources that we can find. We have been blessed, but we have not taken full advantage of that yet. When right now, much of the value added to our raw products it does not happen in the Philippines, but happens outside, and we subsequently import those finished products. We would like to change that very much, and with the help, again, of our partners in the private sector, we hope to achieve that, and so we add value to Philippine products before they leave the Philippines, to the benefit of our economy, to the benefit of our workforce, to the benefit of all ordinary Filipinos. So we invite once again the US companies to invest in processing and value adding of minerals in the Philippines. Our country is abundant with these green metals, so-called green metals, such as nickel, copper, cobalt, bauxite, which are used in the manufacture of batteries. Therefore, the Philippines can play a vital role as a partner for critical minerals, not only as an exporter of raw ore, but more importantly, and this is the aspiration, is as a processor and producer of semi-finished and finished products. We are presently one of the biggest exporters of nickel ore. I think we are only second to Indonesia in terms of the volumes of nickel that are being extracted from the ground. Perhaps future discussions on a critical minerals agreement with the US should be a good platform to encourage more interest in this sector. Amongst US exporters, there is also strong demand in agriculture and food products for tariff reduction. These companies are supportive of a free trade agreement between our two countries. The Philippines is one of the biggest importers of such products from the US, including soybean, meal, corn, pork, chicken, and potatoes. So there are many opportunities that we can see before us, and for our country's greater economic integration are ahead of us. And we seek the support of the private sector, your support, to bring more attention to these opportunities. And it has been the mission of the economic managers of the country and the structuring or restructuring of our economy and of our legislation and the bureaucracy, so that we will continue what we have begun. I agree that we are doing well, but certainly the potential out there is even greater. And I think now is a very opportune time to take advantage of those opportunities. And I hope that in the future, these discussions that we will begin here will come to fruition. And as I have always done, I invite you all to come. And those of you who are, well, we have here many of I don't mean old, but the highly experienced Philippine hands amongst us, and they have already been leading the way for bringing importers and making known the Philippines to U.S. businesses, U.S. exporters and importers, U.S. Companies in the different sectors. They have made known and made it clear, seen that the Philippines should be included in when the U.S. companies are looking for a good place to invest. So we hope that we will join us in the Philippines and make the slogan that we have come to use true. And that slogan is, make it happen in the Philippines. Thank you and good afternoon.
At yun na nga mga kababayan,
At yun nga po mga kaibigan, dito po nagtatapos ang ating reaction video. Muli ako po si I2K ng Sundalo ng Tunggalo at 811. Maraming salamat sa patuloy na pagsuporta. Yeah, peace out.